Hi everyone, this is Mrs. V. Chen. Welcome to my Form 5 Accounting lesson number 12. Today is 16th March 2020. Alright, so we will do one DSE question in 2012, okay, which is about dissolution of a partnership. Okay, now here is the DSE question, and actually this is a very typical question for dissolution of partnership. Okay, which is you are given the balance sheet, the old name, okay, which is same as statement of financial position. And very often there are three accounts that we have to draw up related to dissolution, which is realization accounts, cash at bank accounts, and the partner's capital accounts. All right, so therefore you can see I already have my realization account here, and also on this page I have my cash at bank accounts and capital accounts to begin with. All right, so step number one for dissolution. Okay, we need to close everything here, transfer all assets but not cash at bank into the realization account. So all these assets are debit item. To close it, we credit assets and then we go to realization accounts. So this is my realization account. So on debit side, we have this plant and machinery, office equipment, inventories, and trade receivables. So right after that, we can cancel this. No more, no more, no more, no more. Right. Okay, and then what about cash at bank? We don't transfer cash at bank into realization account because we have to draw up cash at bank account, so that we start with this 2,200, and which is balance brought down to begin with. So right after that, I have no more cash at bank in the statement of financial position. Okay, so as for liabilities, we don't transfer liabilities into realization accounts. So next, we come to this capital account. So we have this balance brought down to begin with. So therefore, this is my capital accounts. I have these figures for each of them. Okay, so after that, no more capital. And since this is about dissolution, so all things related to partners must to be closed. So therefore, we have to close current account into the capital account as well. All right, so here I have currents for ND, which is 14,300, for Bob, which is 6,500. But for Carol, since you have a negative here, so negative is debit balance, so I have to close this to the negative side for Carol, so which is 6,300, and which is the current account. So right after that, I have no more current account. So you can see what's left in the statement of financial position. We have all the liabilities that we have to deal with later. Okay, so next we need to go through this step by step. So the first one, Andy took over all the office equipment as full settlement of his loan to the partnership. Okay, so let's look at the loan here. So we have loan from Andy. So anyway, we have to settle this by paying money to Andy. Is that right? But here we don't pay money. Instead, we pay office equipment. So let's take a look at the double entry. Okay, so after that, we have no more loan. So I debit loan from Andy to cancel it. So which is 60,000. So right after that, I have no more loan from Andy as liability in the statement of financial position. So how to settle that? Not paying money, however, paying by office equipment. Remember, in step number one, we already closed office equipment into the realization account, so that the related account should be realization accounts, which is 60,000. All right. Now, if you look at this figure, so in full settlement, so the loan is 60,000, and then how much is office equipment, which is much bigger than that. Okay, so you don't need to worry about the difference, because the gain or loss on realization will be closed finally in the realization accounts. So that after that, I have to do posting. I need to credit my realization account here. So I credit 60,000 because it is loan from ND, like that. Okay, now we have number 2. Carol took over half of the inventories. So in that case, we charge Carol by debiting her accounts. So debit capital Carol, all right, and then we credit. Okay, what about inventories? Inventories already close to realization account, so therefore it should be also in the realization accounts. And look at the amount here, 11,500 and 11,500. Again, you don't need to worry about the figure which is not the same, even though it is not the same here, because the difference is either gain or loss that we need to work out finally when we close the realization accounts. All right, so this is number 2. So that I do posting debit capital Carol. So here, debit capital Carol, which is 11,500. So the reason is realization account. All right, for inventory, you can write description here. So debit capital, credit, realization. So therefore I have my credit, I have realization on credit side 11,500 because of capital and Carol. Okay, so next we have the most difficult point in this question, which is point number 3. Okay, we have this. Bob had collected from customers a total of this much. Now this is very important. This is already deducting 4,400 for bad debts. Okay, now let me give you this diagram to analyze. All right, so here, point number 3. So I have trade receivable 40,500. So if you go back to statement of financial position, this is the original figure. All right, so anyway, when Bob collected the money, so this is 4,400. Okay, for bad debts written off. But anyway, this 36 is already after deducting debts. So therefore, if I use calculator, how much is the original figure? So that would be 36,100 plus 4,400, and which is also 40,500. Is that right? You can see this is exactly same as the original figure. All right, and this is bad debt written off. Okay, do you remember in the last lesson, we do not have any double entry for bad debt written off because this bad debt written off will be included in the final gain or loss on realization. But anyway, the double entry is about this. Debit bank to collect money from customers, to collect money from debtors, and credits trade receivable by 36,100. 36,100, right? And then we do not have double entry for this figure. Okay, so look at the question. All right, after that, he agreed that the amount collected would be used as parts of the settlement, okay, of his loan. Let's go back here, liability. We have loan from Bob here. So the amount is 36,100 settled. Okay, so therefore to settle loan, I debit loan from Bob, and which is 36,100, and this is credit bank. So use the money collected to settle the loan. Okay, so therefore if you put these two double entries together, you will have the net double entry, which is about debit loan from Bob 36,100, and debit bank, credit bank cancel out, so I credit trade receivable 36,100. Oh, suddenly I remember that it shouldn't be trade receivable. Why? Because in step number 1, we already closed trade receivable into the realization account. So this should be also in the realization realization account. So therefore you have to practice more questions in order to avoid careless mistakes. So it should not be trade receivable because we already transferred that in the realization account. But anyway, this is the double entry related to point number 3. So I debit loan so that the loan decreased by this much. This will be the remaining loan. I need to work out that later. So how much is that? 50,000 minus 36,100. So I have this 1, 3, and 900, the remaining loan. Okay, so that the post name will be debit loan and credits realization account. So here is the realization account, 36,100, and the reason is loan from Bob, like that. Okay, so next we come to the straightforward thing. So which is all the remaining assets were sold by this much. So therefore we are going to receive money for this. So we debit bank and credit realization. So therefore for the straightforward thing, you can skip double entry and then do posting right away. So debit bank. So here is my cash at bank accounts. I have more money in the bank by 285,700 because of realization. Okay, so debit cash at bank and then credit realization, and this is my realization account with 285,700 because of cash at bank. So for the straightforward one. Okay, so next we have this, and all the liabilities were settled by check. So how do we settle liability? We have to pay by check. However, when we pay to supplier, we have this discount. So we will work out that step by step soon. Okay, let's check what liability we have left. Here, loan from Andy, no more. And then loan from Bob, we still have this much as the remaining balance. And now we are going to settle this so that the double entry here. So debits loan from Bob. Okay, and the remaining balance is 50,000 minus 36,100. So 13,900. So to settle this, we have to pay check. So this is loan, and then we pay 13,900. Okay, so therefore no more loan from Bob, but now we still have trade payable. We need to cancel. So debit trade payable, and then the original amount is 50,200. Okay, so how do we settle trade payable? Also by paying check. So this is trade payable. But according to information here, so we will get discount. All right, allowed by suppliers. So therefore, we pay less to supplier. So that is 50,200 minus 720. Okay, all right, so 52,000 minus 720. So we pay this much only. Okay, so therefore what do we enjoy here? 720. All right, so that will be discount received. So we don't have the profit and loss account. However, it should be the realization account for showing the good things, and which is discount received, right? Okay, and what else? One more liability, which is accrued expenses that we have to settle. So debit accrued expenses. So how much do we owe? 11,500. Okay, and also how do we settle that? By paying check. So that is pay for accrued expenses. So 11,500. Okay, so one more thing lastly here. Realization expenses were paid. So this is 4,920. So which account for realization expenses? Which is the debit side in the realization expenses, and then credit bank. Okay, for paying realization expenses, and which is 4,920. Okay, so let's check. So after this double entry, debit loan, debit trade payable, debit accrued expenses, I can say I have no more liabilities. And here I need to do posting step by step. I need to have this debit realization accounts. So here is my realization account, debit side, 4,920, because cash at bank for realization expenses, right? Okay, so I have done this posting. And now what else? I need to credit bank by how many things? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things. So this is my cash at bank accounts. And then I have these 4 things. Paying for loan, paying for trade payable, accrued expenses, and realization expenses, right? So 4 things done. Okay, finally, what is this? 720 discount received, which is a good thing in the realization account. So therefore, I have this 720 trade creditor, trade payable. Always follow the name given to us. So, which is trade payable and discount received. All right, so that's all about the posting and the double entry. Okay, finally we have this. For the purpose of dissolution, all the balances of partners' current accounts were to be transferred. Now remember, even though we don't have this sentence, we always need to close everything. All right, because tomorrow we don't have any partnership. And at the very beginning, we have already transferred all the current account into the capital accounts. Remember that? Right? We already have finished that. Okay? All right, so let's see what's left. So after all posting and the double entries, now we come to have this realization accounts, cash at bank accounts, and the capital accounts. So which account to be closed first? It should be the realization accounts. All right, now let's use calculator to work out the total and see which side is bigger. Plus 1,345,000 plus 92 plus 40 plus 4,920. So therefore I have 400,920, and this side is 400,920, and then minus this 11,500, 36, and 100, 285, 700 minus 720. So therefore I have this 6,900 as the balancing figure. What do you think? Debit side bigger. All right, debit side is negative, so therefore we have loss on realization. Okay. All right, and this will be shared by partners. So they are Andy, Bob, Carol, in their profits and loss ratio, which are 2, 3, and 5. Okay, to share this, so divided by 2, so 3,450, and the other 2 will be, so how much to Andy? So Andy will get 1,380 and 2,070. All right, so this is about loss on realization because we have a debit balance in the statement of financial position. We have a debit balance, we have a debit balance in the realization accounts. Okay, and the loss here is a bad thing to partners, so that this loss will go to debit side, a bad thing in partners capital account. And here I have loss on realization. So the description, I just put realization, the name of the account. So I have 1,300 for Andy, 2,070 for Bob, and 3,450 for Carol. Okay, and we have cash at bank left, we have capital account. So the next account to be closed will be capital accounts. All right, so here we have 3 partners. Let's look at Andy's column, and which side is bigger? This side is bigger, credit side is bigger, so 192,300. So I also have 192,300. Okay, and now I insert this much. All right, so this is a credit balance. Since tomorrow, no more partnership. Everything should be settled. So we will have bank here. Okay, now let me explain to you. So what is meaning of this? That means Andy has a credit balance, is that right? And credit balance is positive to Andy. That means the firm has to pay money to Andy. All right, so credit bank, and to close Andy's capital account. Okay, by the balancing figure, if you use your calculator, you will get 190,920. Okay, so how to settle this? By paying money, so to capital. This is capital. Who is that? This is Andy, and here you will have the balancing figure. You get this figure from the capital accounts. All right, okay, and then look at Bob. Bob also has the credit side, which is bigger, right? So 28,500. Okay, so insert on this side, and you use your calculator, you will get 26,430. So similarly, this is also a credit balance, which is positive, so the firm should pay money. So the same situation, right? So debit capital and credit bank. So here you have Bob, and which is 26,430. Okay? Okay, so finally, look at Carol's column. So you will realize that this time debit side is bigger. So we have 21,250, same to 21,250, and then we insert on smaller side, and then you use your calculator, you will get this 9,250. So what is the description this time? For Carol, debit side bigger, so Carol has debit balance, which is positive to Carol. Therefore, who has to pay money? Carol has to pay money, and then we receive money from Carol, and then to close Carol's capital account. So this is Carol, like that. Okay, so therefore I have to debit bank. So here debit bank, and how much is that? And which is 9,250 from the capital account of Carol. Okay, so finally, the last account to be closed will be the cash at bank accounts. Now see whether we can make the debit side same as the credit side. All right, so that would be 2,200, 2,85700 plus 9,250. So I get 297,150. And how about this side? 13 plus 49480 plus 11,500, 4,920, 190,920 plus 26,430. Yes, 297,150. See, I have the same total on debit side and credit side. That means I have no more closing balance left, because tomorrow dissolution, we have no more partnership, and make sure that this is the final accounts to settle. Okay, if you still get some balance, like closing balance, that means you have made careless mistake. So therefore, what is it again for dissolution? Okay, so make sure we have closed everything, right? We have nothing left in the statement of financial position. And then which account to be closed first? So we close realization account first. We either get gain on realization or loss on realization, and in this question we have loss on realization, so that the second account to be closed will be the capital accounts here, number 2. So if we have loss, this is a loss on realization, number 2. And finally, we work out who has debit balance, who has credit balance, and this debit balance and credit balance will be settled by check. And the last thing, we close cash at bank account and make sure that you don't have any closing balance left, because you should always have the same total on debit side and credit side here if you don't make any mistakes. All right, and this is all about dissolution of a partnership. So thank you for watching my video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.